Shalom YouTube. This is going to be a very important video. So, like, subscribe, share, post it to your Facebook, tag your friends, whatever you gotta do, get this information out there. Because this is something that we've forgotten. And because we have forgotten this, God has forgotten us. But if we remember this, God will remember us. What have we forgotten? We have forgotten the law of Moses. We have forgotten that the commandments are not suggestions, they are commandments. And if we will not abide in them, we are cursed. As it says in Deuteronomy chapter 11, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you keep the commandments of God, and a curse if you reject them and go after other gods, like Allah. Genesis 3:17, and unto Adam he said, because you have listened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Deuteronomy 4. Now therefore listen, O Israel, unto the statutes and to the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which Yahweh God gave to your fathers. Yahweh God of your fathers gives to you. You shall not add unto the law, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you. 1 Kings 2:3. So Deuteronomy was Moses speaking through the Holy Spirit. 1 Kings 2:3, this is David speaking to Solomon. And keep the charge of Yahweh your God to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and whithersoever you turn yourself. Nehemiah 1:9. But if you turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast unto the uttermost part of heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and I will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Psalms chapter 1, most likely written by David. Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of Yahweh, and in his law does he meditate day and night. Proverbs 3. Solomon speaking. My son, forget not my law, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to you. Isaiah 2:3. And many people shall go and say, come you, and let us go to the mountain of Yahweh, Zion, Jerusalem, to the house of God, of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Jeremiah 11:3. And say you unto them, thus says Yahweh God of Israel, cursed be the man that obeys not the words of this covenant, which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt from the iron furnace, saying, obey my voice and do them according to all which I command you. So shall you be my people, and I will be your God. Daniel 9:11. Yea, all Israel has transgressed your law, even by departing, that they might not obey your voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me. Seeing that you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children. Amos 2:4. Thus says Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of Yahweh, and have not kept his commandments, and their lies cause them to err after the which their fathers have walked. Micah 4:2. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Nahum 1:15. Behold, from the mountains of the feet of him that brings good tidings, that publishes peace. O Judah, keep your solemn feasts, the Passovers, the Feast of Tabernacles. Keep your solemn feasts, perform your vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through you. He is utterly cut off. Habakkuk 1:4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment does not go forth. For the wicked do compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeds. So right there, because the law is slacked, the wicked conquer the good. Zephaniah 3:1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in the God, she drew not near to her God. She obeyed not the voice of God, the commandments. Haggai 2:11. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, ask now the priest concerning the law. Zechariah 14:16. It shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Malachi 4:4. Remember you the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Matthew 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass, one iota or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. In verse 23, he talks about giving burnt sacrifices. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there you remember your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar, go your way, first be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. In Mark chapter 2, the disciples are plucking grain on the Sabbath, but Jesus was not. And the Pharisees were asking Jesus why his disciples violated the Sabbath. But they didn't say, Jesus, why are you violating the Sabbath? But Mark 3:4 is much clearer. He said unto them, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days or to do evil, to save life or to kill? But they held their peace. And this is when Jesus heals the man on the Sabbath. He asked them if it was lawful to heal on the Sabbath, and they didn't say no. Luke 16:17. It is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail. John 9:19. Did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you keeps the law? Why do you go about to kill me? Hebrews 10:1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect. James 1:25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continues therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. 2 Peter 2:15. Which have forgotten the right way, and have gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. So Balaam was a prophet of Yahweh among the Gentiles, but he also loved wealth, and he corrupted himself because he desired money. And he gave burnt sacrifices to God to try to curse Israel, and God refused to listen to him. So what Balaam ended up doing was teaching Balak, king of Moab, like, listen, if they break the law of Moses, then you can conquer them. But if they obey their God, you can't touch them. 1 John 3:4. Whosoever commits sin transgresses also the law, for sin is transgression of the law. Revelation 22:14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Whoever told you that Christianity doesn't have to follow the law of Moses is lying to you. The Bible makes it very clear. If you will not keep the commandments of God, you are cursed. You want to know why the Muslims are conquering us? You want to know why we're having all this depression and this anxiety and this inflation and all these horrible things, and we pray to God, but he doesn't help us? You want to know why we feel like this? Because we have abandoned the commandments of God. Adam and Eve broke the one commandment and were cursed for it. And they had to struggle the rest of their lives just to make ends meet, hunting and gathering and farming, and the earth was not habitable at that point. It was very difficult to draw food from the earth because the ground was cursed. We disobey so many more commandments than Adam and Eve. We have all this wonderful technology, and it's just used to enslave us. If we will not obey the commandments of God, God will not listen to our voices. God will not answer our prayers. But if we become fanatical for the law of Moses and we teach others the law of Moses, as Christ intended for us to follow the law of Moses, as Christ himself followed the law of Moses, everything will go well for us. The Catholic Church is not going to save us. The Orthodox Church is not going to save us. The Protestant Church, aside from their rejection of communion and baptism for the most part, and, the Protestant Church doesn't really follow the law of Moses, but they're much more sympathetic to it. But the Protestant Reformation didn't go far enough. The Protestant Reformation, they should have gone back to the Torah, the prophets, and the Gospels. Instead, Martin Luther just kind of half-assed it. We must keep the law of Moses. We must become fanatical for the law of Moses. Christ is king. He's coming back. And those who will not obey the commandments of God, they are cursed. and the curse has devoured the earth. Isaiah 24.